Good afternoon, this is Atmospheric Alex here with an extremely urgent update on this upcoming nor'easter that will be impacting the New England area tomorrow into Monday. Could you see a ton of snow, damaging winds, large waves? We'll find out in today's video. So as you can see with our current analysis data here, we're talking about some rain, some snow up here in the portions of Washington and Oregon, but nothing much to speak of there. You're seeing quite a bit of snow here across the Great Lakes. Again, every single video we talk about this. Even some snow going into Kentucky. It doesn't show it, but we have had some reports of some snowflakes and some mixed precipitation. And then some severe weather down here across Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina. You get the idea. As we take a look at your current alert map, we are talking about an awful lot of activity for portions of New England here. Anywhere in your orange colors are your blizzard warnings that are in effect. To see very serious storm system I'll be pushing through your area. Down here, we do in fact have some mesoscale discussions active for severe weather, but nothing much more than that. And now we're going to take a look at our winter storm severity index here, and this is definitely the kind of craziest output I think I have ever seen here from the officials. We are talking about our red colors, we're talking about our purple colors. I mean, we've got every single color here across the board. We're talking about extreme impacts here. Look at this. Especially for Long Island, New York City, are going to experience extreme impacts from this upcoming snowstorm, and some of your other areas as well. You need to get prepared for this. And as we head into our day 3 risk, we're talking about even more significant issues for, say, the Boston area, Plymouth area, Yarmouth, Nantucket there. We're talking about extreme impacts. This system is going to be very large, really intense in nature, which is what we've been seeing on the models. And now we're going to kind of quickly read over some of our key messages here for our upcoming nor'easter. We're talking about heavy snow, strong winds, localized blizzard conditions. A major winter storm is expected. Snowfall rates over 1 inch per hour can occur at times, and 1 to 2 feet of snow in total could occur. Blizzard conditions could occur. Power outages are expected. Wind gusts between 40 to 70 miles an hour. This is very serious. Coastal flooding and erosion could also occur as well. So we're talking about a pretty high-end situation here, hence why I have a level 5 out of 5 on our level of concern scale. Did not call this an exceptionally rare event because this is actually supposed to happen. We're supposed to see big storm systems across New England, but we haven't really had that over the past few winters, so we're having to get used to normality again, if you will. Here is your European model. In terms of your storm system, some snow starts to move in as we head into tomorrow afternoon, but it won't really be until tomorrow evening where we have our low pressure system really cranking. Look at this rapidly, explosively intensifying low pressure system. We're talking about a big time bomb cyclone here. And take a look, we're talking about some moderate to heavy snow across the DC area. You know, all other areas as well, like New Jersey, we're talking about a lot of snow starting to come down tomorrow night. Look at this, 970 millibars. This is a southern outlier, though, in terms of our models. Still talking about heavy snowfall across basically the entirety of your New England area here, you know, especially like right along the coast. Yeah, lots of snow falling. This low pressure system begins to move a little further north, and Massachusetts, you're going to be talking about puking snow over here. Very heavy snow is expected, and honestly, I mean, we could be talking about 1 inch per hour snow rates, but probably even more than that in some of these isolated banding features. This continues, pivots up into portions of Maine and Newfoundland, and then that's all said and done. Now, in terms of your NAM 3-kilometer model, here's kind of your high-resolution NAM. You can see a lot of snow breaking out across Pennsylvania, West Virginia, portions of Virginia. This is a little bit further west than your European model had it, and a lot of mesoscale models are starting to agree on that. Very, very heavy snow for southern New Jersey here. Take a look at that. We could even be talking about some thunder snow. That would be very interesting. And look at this. I mean, look at all your really heavy snow being thrown right back into portions of New England here. And this band right here, we could be talking around 40 to 50 decibels of snow. These are exceptionally heavy snowfall rates here. I mean, that is absolutely insane. We could be talking about some thunderstorms moving into your snow, and that's where your thunder snow could occur. And very, very heavy snow here, puking snow into portions of Delmarva here. I mean, almost black colors. That is really exceptional. And this really heavy snow moves into New York City. Oh my goodness, and that just continues on through. This, again, this is going to be quite a situation. Look at across Massachusetts, very heavy snow just pounding on down. And then you can even see, you know, how tightly packed your low pressure system is right here. If my Epic pen would work, you could see we're talking about almost what looks like a hurricane. It's not a hurricane, but it sure looks like one, and it's going to bring significant impacts, and this just continues on through more and more. I mean, this starts off on Sunday evening, and goes all the way through Monday evening. So a long duration, very heavy snow event. Our HRRR model, what does that show? Roughly the same thing. You could see, we see heavy snow, you know, actually kind of early on going into Sunday. That's interesting. And this really begins to ramp up a lot more. Very heavy snowfall moving onshore. Look at this. We have maxed out colors. The HRRR tends to overdo snow rates. I'm going to put that right out there. I mean, our colors are not going to be maxed out more than likely. Some areas could, though, according to the NAM. And you could see it's still snowing very heavily by the end of the run. How much snowfall could you expect? We're going to go through some of our models first and then switch to our National Weather Service guidance. Here is your European model, and it's honestly the most conservative out of the bunch, and that kind of says something, right? I mean, we're talking about over a foot of snow for this entire area, and this has the floor scenario. That is very concerning. Look at this, around 22 inches here across portions of Massachusetts. Lots of snow is going to be coming down, around 12 to 14 for New York City. This is on your low end of your guidance, though. Because as we head into our NAM 3 kilometer model, we're going to look at our 10-to-1 ratios first and go to Kuchera because of our temperatures. You know, some areas are going to be closer to, say, 37 degrees. Some areas are going to be closer to 27 degrees. So snowfall ratios are going to vary a lot. And I need to refresh our data here, as you could tell. I haven't made a video in a few days. But look at this, a lot of snow here. We're talking around 30 inches being possible here for, you know, portions of the New Jersey coast. That is definitely not surprising to me, honestly. And then portions of Delmarva picking up around 20 inches, almost 30 inches here near Boston. My goodness, these would be some extremely high totals. And this is kind of getting towards the high end of your guidance, but still not quite there yet. I mean, I think we could see something even more serious. Our Kuchera ratios, so basically this is going to favor colder areas here, and it sure does. New York City, 25 inches. That's 2 feet of snow for you. 2 feet of snow in New York City. You haven't dealt with that in a while. Look at here near Boston, around 25 to 30 inches. This is just all out crazy and actually kind of possible. And actually looking more likely, unfortunately. I mean, this is going to be a big storm. Going into our HRRR model here on our 10-to-1 ratios, you can see around 25 to 28 inches being possible. That's a hot zone right there for you all. Southeastern New Jersey, that's definitely a hot zone. And portions here near Boston, that might be another hot zone. As we take a look at some of our colder areas with our snow ratios, look at that. Again, 2 feet of snow for New York City. Wow. A lot of other areas getting closer to 30 inches here, right there, over here, some of your higher elevations. That is that is just ridiculous. And even closer to 40 inches here in some of your higher elevations in southern New York. That is something significant. Our national blend of all models is pretty much right on par with all other models, but even more aggressive. We're talking around 3 feet of snow for some localized areas within here. Look at that. We're talking 30 to 34 inches, around the same for these areas too. Again, certain areas are just going to get absolutely pounded, dumped on with snow. Safe to say, this is your crush zone, and this is another crush zone right here. We're going to watch for that. Now, for our National Weather Service's opinions here, basically, on our snowfall, you could see we're going to start here in western Pennsylvania. We're talking about a lot of snow here for some of our mountainous areas here. But as you could see, our ranges are really wide because we just don't know how far west our nor'easter is going to go. As we head further off to the south here, you can see snowshoe picking up around a foot of snow. Some other areas in there as well. Some of your higher elevations, I mean, we could be talking, maybe up to 18 inches of snow in some areas. So that is great. That will extend our skiing season quite a lot for portions of West Virginia, and that is going to be some pretty good news for some people. Across central Pennsylvania, generally around 5 to 9 inches of snow is going to be a possibility, and as we head into our high-end totals, you could see it here. Maybe around a foot of snow in some other areas. Down here across portions of the DC area here, probably talking between 2 to 6 inches of snow, but that could definitely increase. Again, how far west will our nor'easter go? That's very important as we look at our high-end totals. Absolutely, if it goes far enough west, 15 inches for DC, that would be quite astounding there. 20 inches for Baltimore being possible. So your high-end scenarios are only going to happen if your storm can track further off to the west. And as we head, further off to the east here, closer to your coast, we're talking around maybe upwards of a foot of snow in Cambridge, Salisbury, Ocean City could pick up a foot of snow. And yeah, I mean, our high-end totals maybe closing in on 2 feet of snow for some of these areas. And could we see higher? I guess we'll wait and see. But certainly, I am going to lean on our high end for a scenario like this. It just seems like the type of storm system that would promote such an outcome. Look at this here. For portions of New York, we are talking, or New Jersey, I can't believe I got that mixed up. We're seeing a lot of snow here, over a foot, maybe closing in on 20 inches as we look at our high end. Oh my goodness, the NWS, the National Weather Service, explicitly calls for over 3 feet of snow being a possibility near Toms River, New Jersey. You need to watch out for that. A lot of areas getting upwards of even over 30 inches of snow in your high-end totals. Again, this is a 1 in 10 chance, a 10% chance of verification, but with our model uptrends being consistent and our low tracking further west, wouldn't doubt this in the slightest. Heading up here, further up into New York here, we are talking a ton of snow just for everybody involved with this system, probably generally between 12 to 24 inches in a lot of areas. As we take a look at our high-end totals here, upwards of around 28 to almost 30 inches for New York City. I cannot remember the last time you got that much snow. Long Island closing in on near 3 feet of snow on your high-end guidance. We'll have to wait and see if it verifies. But basically everywhere is shaded in red, dark red, and even darker red on your high-end guidance. And then we're going to go a lot further off to the north here. Again, you can see your westward extent of your system. Could the snow shield push even further to the north and west? That's something we're going to have to watch for. And if it does, Albany could get a foot of snow. Not a forecast, but certainly a possibility. As we run on into our high-end guidance here, look at that. My goodness. I mean, some of these mountains in here, I think, are being quite underdone, if I'm to be honest. I think 3 feet of snow is possible. Not likely, but definitely possible. And look at this. I mean, we're going to head a little further off to the east here for portions of, say Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode Island here. 9 to 24 inches for Providence. Quite a big spread because we don't know all the details yet. But look at that. Lots of snow being expected. 32 inches on your high end. And now here is arguably one of the main shows here. So we saw our first crush zone. Now we're going into our second crush zone. This is it right here. We're talking likely, way over a foot of snow for a lot of these areas. Probably even over 18 inches if you were to ask me. Our high end here, over 3 feet of snow is possible. I mean, this is outrageous. Boston, 28 inches. Mansfield, 36. Plymouth, 32. Providence, 32. Yeah, again, 10% chance of happening. But with our model uptrends, I'd put that chance a little bit higher, in my opinion, personally. And then as we head on up into portions of Maine here, yeah, definitely talking about some snow maybe closing in on a foot in some areas, especially along your coast like Portland, Rockland, some of those areas in there. As we head even further off to the northeast here, we're talking around 3 to 8 inches in Bangor, but, I would say more closer to 5 to 8. How far northwest will the system track will determine these totals, and our high-end guidance may be closing in on a foot. Now, we're going to spend a little bit of extra time here on our wind gust forecast here because we have to hit the 20-minute mark on this video due to our level of concern. As we can currently see on our European model, as we kind of progress through time, our low pressure system really begins to develop down here, and look at that, really explodes. I mean, we are talking about a very tight area of lower pressure right here, down to around 980 to 970 millibars. A very strong sting jet going right around the low like that. If this is any further west, we could have very serious issues here for portions of Delaware, Maryland, and those areas. But winds gusting upwards of 40 to 50 miles an hour as we head into Monday morning into Monday afternoon. Look at this across portions of Massachusetts. Gusts potentially closing in on 70 to near 80 miles an hour, maybe for the Cape. We're going to have to see how strong this low pressure system gets. We do have a high-end ceiling here on our European model, and you can see that continuing on through these gusts, really sustaining themselves for a long period of time. What about our NAM 3-kilometer model here as we kind of take it through time? Our low pressure system forms rapidly. You can see it here. Oh my goodness. And this is, again, further off to the west, what I was saying before. Gusts up to 60 being possible in New Jersey. And look at that. I mean, offshore, we have gusts approaching 100 miles an hour on your northeast quadrant of your low pressure system. Gusts approaching 60, almost 70 miles an hour for Long Island. Look at this for Massachusetts. Gusts or the Cape, I should say, 70 to 80 miles an hour possible. New York City, we're talking about gusts approaching 60 miles an hour. This is going to be a very high impact storm. Power outages, I mean, down trees, down power lines. I mean, this is going to have a lot of hazards with it for sure. And those winds just continue. On our HRRR model, this is the most aggressive model of them all, and that's not to be so surprising. You could see this particular model shows gusts near 70 for portions of Delmarva. I'm not really buying that in particular. I think that's too far south. But look at this. Portions of New Jersey, gusts up to 60. New York, we're seeing gusts up to 60 to nearly 65 miles an hour. That would be very serious. You can see also your eye of your low pressure system becoming very well defined. Oh my gosh, this looks like a hurricane. It's not, but it really looks like one. Gusts upwards of 70 to 75 on Long Island. Gusts approaching 80, almost even higher than that on, eastern Long Island. That is crazy. I think the HRRR is too far out to lunch. Almost 80 miles an hour in downtown Boston, Massachusetts. Yeah, power lines are going to be a big issue with this system, and a large swath of 70 mile an hour wind gusts here taking over at the end of our model run. We'll have to see how strong this low pressure system gets, but this is definitely not fully out of the question, though. I do think some mesoscale models are a little too far west at this time. Our National Weather Service here, what are they showing in terms of your wind gusts? You can see how quickly your low pressure system tightens up. That eye well defined on their forecast. But we're seeing gusts between 45 to near 50 in New York City. That seems more realistic. Around 60 on Long Island. Gusts, around 60 to near 70 miles an hour for portions of the Cape of Massachusetts. Around 60 for Boston. Yeah, I would have to say that's a pretty good forecast. Could we go higher? Again, only time will tell. For our last product here is our maximum individual wave heights. This is going to be a very big issue, and we could see some storm surge along the coast here. I mean, look at how that swirl develops here, even with your waves. We're talking upwards of maybe 20 to even 25 foot waves on Long Island. But the Cape of Massachusetts, man, we're talking wave heights between 30 to near 45 feet. Very serious. Scituate, Massachusetts, I mean, along the breakwater there, we're going to have a lot of big issues, and freezing spray, too, could be another one of those issues. Boston, Massachusetts could have wave heights around 30 feet. This is going to definitely be a high impact situation for a lot of people. Alright, and with that being said, thank you all so much for tuning into today's video. I hope you enjoyed it and found this informative. If you did enjoy the video, please be sure to smash the like button, subscribe to my little Corner of Weather community, share this video with friends, family, and social media, and even consider following me on social media, especially my X/Twitter page, which actually, believe it or not, I went storm chasing with a group of friends the other day, and I caught my first ever tornado. If you want to see that, I highly suggest you go to that page and kind of give it a look for yourself, because it is honestly quite breathtaking seeing it all form in real time. And I would show it in today's video, but it has nothing to do with winter weather, so I can't do that, unfortunately. Have a wonderful night, everyone. Stay very extraordinarily weather aware out there, and prepare as if you would back a few years ago when you would normally get these nor'easter systems. Last few winters have been kind of weird, haven't they?